first before you can see what is not that thing more clearly.
I do understand.
Does this help you?
Well, I feel like I got a lot of,
Yes.
I got that all very clearly during the meditation.
Yes.
And I am
Yet.
assuming that what's coming through you is also speaking to me on different levels.
Yes, of
And
course.
I'm,
And you will process this information
Yes.
at whatever rate and in whatever way you have decided you are comfortable or it is appropriate for you to do so. You don't have to do it the way we're saying. We're just giving you the understanding that you could if you wish to.
yes.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
And yet,
I would like to step into a reality, transform a spine injury that I have.
All
Can
right.
you tell me anything that can assist me with that?
why did you attract that situation to yourself? The way to answer that question is, what have you learned about yourself by having that experience that you would not have learned had you not chosen that experience?
It sent me into an extremely protracted state of pain and darkness to the depths that I didn't know existed.
All right.
And then when I thought all was lost,
Yes.
I found light again.
All right.
And
So
it was
that
like
you
an
now know.
So I experienced an accelerated
Yes. Yes.
expansion, growth, possibilities,
Yes.
everything. However, I would much rather have experienced that without the negative part.
All right. And you can, but you see what you're doing is you're invalidating the stepping stone.
And then it won't work. If I
Of course.
invalidate it.
You are saying, this experience had no business being in my life. I would rather have done it another way. I am, in a sense, cutting this out of my path. It doesn't belong. But it did belong, or it wouldn't have happened.
Okay.
So the idea is, when you acknowledge, when you totally validate that it was there for a reason. Now, yes, I understand. Objectively, as you say. Could have been done some other way, yes. But the fact is, this is the way you did it. So don't judge yourself, don't judge your life as any less for having done it that way. Don't wish it gone. Learn what it taught you. Accept it as a valuable stepping stone that brought you to where you are. When you allow it to serve the purpose it truly served, when you validate it as part of your life and don't wish it from your life, then it will not necessarily need to stay around because you're willing to accept it for the service it provided in your life. It's only the idea of your resistance to that particular experience that is actually causing the extension of the discomfort because, as we have defined many times, all pain is resistance to the natural self, to the holistic self, to the full description of who you are. That's what pain is, resistance to the natural total self.
I get it.
So if you are, in a sense, attempting to cut out or extract anything that's happened in your life that's brought you to where you are, that sets up more resistance and prolongs any experience of pain that may have been manifested as a result of the initial resistance to begin with that attracted you to that experience. Does that make sense in your language?
Very much.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Take a deep breath and make that knowledge your own and let it out. Are you feeling a little bit lighter right now?
Lighter and more solid all at the same time.
All right. Let that continue to grow, and anytime something comes up that is a part of your path, that even if it was dark and painful, as soon as you accept that it was there as part of your path and not an interruption in it, you will allow it to function as, to be experienced as part of the path, and the whole thing will start to smooth out. You follow?
I do, I can feel it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
My question is about what the metaphysical community describes as elemental command. It's described as consciously co-creating with the elements such as air, water, earth, fire, and ether. And I was wondering, are there civilizations within the Interstellar Alliance that consciously practice and use elemental command and consciously co-create with the elements?
Yes.
Could you give some examples?
One civilization in particular, quasi-physical in your terms of understanding, will actually allow themselves to become the archetypal image, the archetypal symbol, energetically, of the idea of what you call elemental consciousness, and will actually represent for a certain span of time to the entire civilization an actual physical expression of those elemental beings. In other words, certain civilizations will actually experience for a time, walking among them, gigantic versions of beings that are actually representative of those elemental relationships. They will actually take on the form, the symbolic representation of an idea, of a being that represents those archetypal relationships. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Now, there are many ways to do this, and you're all doing it anyway. You all have relationships to the idea of archetypal and elemental consciousness as your relationship, as part of your relationship to the idea of the consciousness of the earth. But you just express it in a variety of different ways, and different civilizations also express it in a variety of different ways that serve that particular idea or understanding of themselves as a civilization. Does this help you?
Yes, it does. That was good.
All right, thank you.
And one more question.
Yes.
Which element do you most strongly resonate with, Bashar?
It depends on which Bashar you're talking to at any given moment. For myself personally, in the overall sense of my life path, I resonate with the void. That's why I'm a first contact specialist and why I'm an explorer in space. Space is my true vibrational home, the void. Do you follow?
Yes, great.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I've come to try and understand.
You have come to what?
I have come to understand.
Thank you. If
the
you want to
connection-
try and understand,
no, forget
that's
try.
fine too.
Let's forget the try part.
All right. Just
That's
want to
an
make sure
affliction.
that we're focused on what it
That's
is you really prefer to do.
Exactly. So I'm interested in the connection. I'd like to exercise a connection between the higher mind, which conceives, and our brain, which
Yes.
perceives.
Yes. Well, this exercise is one way to
I
exercise
understand
that idea.
that, yeah. So when I come to events like this, I try and set an intention.
what?
I scratch
We
try.
apologize. We
Okay,
are
all right,
selectively
all right.
deaf to certain
That's
vibrations.
Thank you, Bashar.
Yes.
When I come to events like this, I set an intention.
Yes.
And the
More
intention-
intention setting. Yes.
That's right. The intention I set was the simplicity of bliss and the bliss of simplicity, and that's what
Yes.
why I go to strike try, and so I want to make a better connection between conceiving and perceiving.
Easily done. Do you have a coin?
Yes.
Pull it out of your pocket or wherever it is.
And flip it.
No. Put it on the ground
Got it.
and stand up again. Now, set an intention to pick up the coin.
It's not going to get me very far.
No. Now do you want to pick up the coin?
Mm-hmm.
Then setting an intention and picking up the
Two
coin
different things.
are not different things.
Aha.
That's the point. When you pick up the coin, when you actually just do it, that's actually the true expression of the intention. They're not different things. That's our point.
Got it.
So many of you make them different things. Well, I have an intention, I have an intention, I have an intention, and nothing gets done. The point is, picking up the coin is the same thing as the intention. There actually is no difference, because only by actually doing the action do you actually manifest or reveal the existence of the intention. If you just have an intention in your mind, there is no revelation of the intention. There is a real existence of an intention until it's actually expressed through the action that reveals the existence of the intention. Stop separating them. That's as simple as it gets.
So does that mean you have to establish trust between
No.
conception and
No.
perception? No, it's the same act.
None of you have to establish trust in anything. You already, all of you, trust 100% in something. You don't have to learn or establish trust. The issue is, what are you putting your trust in? That's the difference. You are never without trust. It's just, what are you putting your 100% trust in? What belief, what definition are you trusting in? You never have to learn to trust or establish trust. You're always trusting something to be true. If you weren't, you wouldn't be having any experience of anything. Make sense?
It makes sense.
So, it's up to you to choose where you're putting your trust and creating less and less segregation and separation in your definitions of, so that you don't come into conundrums such as, well, I have an intention, but nothing's happening. When you simply act, that at the same time is the true revelation of and expression of, and actually at that moment of action is actually the true moment of the creation of the true intention. What you typically call an intention is not really an intention. It's just, in a sense, more like a supposition. It's a theory. But when you act, that's when true intention is created. Because only through action is there intention. What you call intention by sitting around and not actually acting, in a sense, is just theoretical musings. It's just probabilities. That's all that is.
Well, what's interesting, my experience in setting an intention, and I think I often combine these two, what happens is that things set themselves up so that my intention is realized. I'm given the opportunities out of nowhere.
Yes.
To actually have this happen. And for me, it's not being too specific about what it's going to be.
Yes.
Oftentimes, it's how I'm going to feel about how it's going to be.
Yes. But here's the thing. Again, all of you are creating your reality so quickly, so smoothly, so flawlessly that you don't realize. You may create the illusion. You may create the illusion that you set the intention first, and then the reflection of synchronous in your reality gives you an opportunity to take the action. But in fact, in order for you to even experience the idea of the intention to begin with that creates the synchronicity, you had to be acting in that vibration first. And that's the key. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to conceive of what you're calling the intention. You have to be the vibration or you can't perceive it. So when you have an intention, it may seem like it comes before the manifestation, before that reality, but you actually have to already be that vibration. You actually have to already be that reality in which such an idea can even be capable of being conceived or perceived by you. So there actually isn't as much separation or time lag as you think. Does that make sense?
That's bliss.
Thank you.
I'm taking my quarter with me.
If that is your intention.
I got my money's worth, though. Thank you.
Now, how many billions of parallel realities remain before your lunch period?
About 5 minutes.
All right. Do you wish to have one more interaction?
Hello, Bashar.
And a good day.
Thank you for being here.
Well, I understand what you mean, even though I'm not literally there.
Right. Thank you.
Although, of course, we are all everywhere.
Right. So I'm at a point in my life where I can see how my life is a reflection of my intentions, my actions. It's a reflection of me, and I can live a high, and I feel really good day to day in my personal life.
Why do I sense a large butt coming up here?
But, because I'm about to ask. But
all right.
The thing that brings me down, it's not
The thing that brings you down?
the feeling,
You mean
the thought.
when I choose to lower my vibration?
What I'm trying to understand.
What you're
I
what?
guess, Trying. Yeah. what I'm about to ask
Yes.
is knowing that I'm a co-creator of
Yes.
all of reality outside just my personal life.
No, 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 no. Every single thing you experience is a creation in your personal reality.
Okay.
Even though you are interacting with other consciousnesses that are autonomous consciousnesses, you only experience them by creating your version of them out of your energy in your reality. You don't experience them directly in physical terms. So everything in your reality that you experience is actually made out of your energy, is your version of who you are interacting with on a higher level. But you're creating your representation of them out of your own energy in your own universe in order to experience them through physical means, through physical interaction. So it's still all in your own personal reality.
Okay. Well, how can I justify, I guess, some of the evils in the world that I'm choosing to project, to experience myself?
Because you recognize that many people can act out of alignment with themselves, out of integrity, that they do not have the tools or the awareness or the understanding to be in alignment with the idea of who it is they prefer to be. They may not have been given the tools that are in alignment with the expression of wanting to be more of themselves. And so they may use things that are negative tools, segregational tools, lower in a sense in vibration, because they simply have never been given any other toolkit by which to express the idea of their true selves, their true reality. So they do the best they can. And in that sense, the idea is that if you have the ability to express to them through example other choices they could make, other tools they could choose to express the idea of their fullness of self, to know that they are valuable, to know that they are valid, to not devalue themselves and so in turn devalue everything else around them. Because remember, the golden rule really is what you're willing to do to yourself, you'll do to anyone else. You understand? Mm-hmm. So the idea is if you teach them that they are worthy, teach them that they are valuable, and they have, in a sense, no real reason to devalue themselves or think less of themselves or negatively judge themselves in that way to begin with, then they can learn that there is no threat to their ego. There is no fear of annihilation. They do not have to be afraid of life. They do not have to lash out because they find themselves lacking and project their fear of that reality on everyone else. Remember that a person, in a sense, who feels alone doesn't want to be alone, and they will do whatever they are capable of doing to drag anyone into their reality with them. But if they're operating on a downward spiral, then all they will do is drag everyone down the drain with them. But if you teach them that there is an upward spiral, that they are part of creation, that they would not exist if they were not a valuable piece of all that is, if you by example show them they have other choices, then you give them at least an opportunity to choose other things, not that they have to. Because simultaneously it's important to be unconditionally loving and allowing enough to know that no matter what they may choose to experience in physical reality, no matter how negative it may be, they are fundamentally an infinite and eternal spirit, and somewhere in their experience of themselves, they'll get the point. By supporting them with unconditional love to know that they are an infinite spirit, by bolstering the idea that they are a loving infinite spirit, you give them the greatest opportunity to see themselves in that light as well and choose more positive representations of the expression of themselves in life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Does that help?
It does. So on a larger scale, such as war,
Yes.
we teach through individual acts.
Yes.
It's not something that we can just phase out of our reality.
Yes, of course. But remember, here's what you're actually doing, going back once again to the understanding of true parallel reality awareness. You never actually change the world you're in. You change yourself and shift to a parallel reality that's already more representative of the world you prefer. The other world still remains the same in the same way that when you change from channel 2 to channel 4, the program on channel 2 is still the same as it was. But now you're living channel 4. And that world, that program, is simply now more reflective and contains versions of individuals that are more reflective of the change you've made within yourself, and you've shifted yourself to a parallel reality that can now reflect that change within you. The world itself hasn't changed.
Cool, got it.
Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Does that help you?
It does.
Thank you. Would you now like to enjoy billions of parallel realities of lunch? Enjoy your break. We will reconnect in 14,578,952 parallel realities. Give or take.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Did you enjoy your lunch? And I also wanted to mention that the Esasani seed crystals, that I'm not sure if everyone really understood what that was about. Did anybody have any questions in terms of what the crystals are or how they function? What are they? Well, we've been, he told us about them about a year ago, and we've really been going through a lot to get them made and to get them exactly the way that we want them. And what will happen is when we get the crystals in, then we have Bashar charge them. And what that does is it's charged in a way that acts as of course it's a permission slip. Everyone knows it's a permission slip. But it also, what it does is it gives you a harmonic resonance to tune into. And it makes you a point of contact in the sense of an invitation for contact. And so what happens over time is that if you have a planet filled with people that are beaming the energy of wanting contact and welcoming contact, that's one of the ways that we shift to a parallel Earth where we're actually having physical contact. So that's what the crystals are designed to do. But, just as an aside, to me, they're also kind of like having a Dick Tracy decoder watch. Because you'll see when he tells you stories about his planet and everything, it just brings out the child inside of you, that creative aspect of yourself that's unfettered, that's not skeptical, that just wants to have fun. And I really think that that's a lot of why they also gave us these crystals, was to give us an opportunity to have some more fun and to play with it and to play with them. So, and I know we're going to take a few minutes and let Kirby tell you about the holotope, because that'll come at the end, and that's designed to anchor the information and the energy that he's given you today, because we really want everyone to have the fullest, most wonderful lives. And this technology that Bashar is giving to us can radically change your life if you want it to. So thank you all very much for being here, and let me turn it over to Kirby so that he can tell you about the holotope and how it works.
Hey everyone. This is the holotope. The holotope was invented by Randall Fonts, who's sitting right here. Thank you, Randall. Randall was a longtime creator at the Exploratorium in San Francisco for light projects, light and sound projects, and he's devoted his whole life to creating visual representations of the inner self, and he's really hit it on this one. So